The woman noticed something strange while taking a shower. A strange man suddenly broke into the house. He even thoughtfully handed her a towel. But the strange thing is, the woman seemed unable to see the man. She just walked past like nothing had happened. Only then did the man following behind realize. Turns out Daisy was a blind woman who could not see. At this moment she was still preparing to start cooking as usual, but she had no idea that on the floor beside her husband was already lying in a pool of blood. Until Daisy opened the microwave and turned around to get some rest. Only then did Daisy sense something was wrong. She touched the bloodstains on the ground with her hand. Only then did she realize something serious had happened at home. Turns out her husband had already stopped breathing. She instantly broke down and tried to get up to find help, but when she turned around she bumped straight into the strange man. Daisy was completely terrified. She immediately ran to the other side of the living room, but the man made no sound at all. He just wandered around quietly. That made the already blind Daisy freeze in place. She quickly asked the man how he got inside, but he just kept throwing vases, using the sound of them smashing, deliberately making Daisy panic in confusion. Realizing the man had bad intentions, Daisy quickly ran for her life. She first hid in the bedroom to buy some time. To get timely help, she opened the laptop on the bed. Using its voice recognition function, she sent a distress text to her sister, but the voice recognition was still too slow. At that moment the man smashed the window with a chair, then suddenly lunged forward and pinned Daisy to the ground. Within minutes she was tied to the bed, but the man's purpose seemed to be hiding something, because Daisy's home was in a busy city area, yet the man showed no sign of urgency. He even helped Daisy wipe the blood off her hands and clean some wounds on her legs. That made the blind Daisy even more confused. Could it be the man was not after money? While Daisy was still puzzled, the man actually untied the ropes, then told her a shocking secret. He claimed Daisy's husband was never a banker. All these years he had been secretly doing bad things. In fact, he was a thief just like him. He even took off with the stolen money from his own partners, and Jeff came here just to get that money back. But this explanation was obviously unconvincing. How could her husband, the man she lived with every day, be some kind of thief? Just as Jeff pressed her about the money's location, his phone suddenly rang. It was Jeff's older brother calling. He asked if the stolen money had been found. While Jeff was on the phone, Daisy quickly put on some clothes. At that moment she happened to find a camera. She quickly hid the camera behind her back. When Jeff finished the call he was already angry, but Daisy pretended nothing had happened. Jeff pressed Daisy to tell him where the money was. Otherwise, even if he wouldn't do anything to her, his brother would personally take care of it. But no matter how Jeff pressed, Daisy knew nothing about the stolen money. Jeff finally lost his temper and was about to force Daisy again.
Come on, wait.
Buying herself some time, Daisy ran for her life. Relying on her familiarity with the house, she quickly found the elevator, but unfortunately, the elevator was too slow, so Daisy had to rely on instinct, and ran quickly to the first floor blind. Meanwhile, Jeff finally woke up from being knocked out. In her panic, Daisy accidentally fell down the stairs. Luckily, Jeff was still some distance away, so Daisy kept running toward the first floor, with Jeff chasing closely behind. But Daisy became completely disoriented, and unknowingly ran into the basement, where Jeff could easily catch her. Just as Daisy felt completely hopeless, her neighbor heard the noise and came over. Daisy quickly told the neighbor to call the police, and not to come inside, but the neighbor insisted he could protect Daisy. Hiding in the corner, Daisy was dumbfounded, until the next second. The neighbor was killed, while Jeff was busy dealing with the body. Daisy quietly slipped out from behind. This time she finally escaped the house. Relying on her instinct, she followed a wire fence and struggled onto the busy street. Hearing voices nearby, she quickly called for help. Luckily, she ran into someone important. The man was a local police officer. Seeing Daisy was now under police protection, Jeff had no way out. The officer immediately picked up his phone to call for backup, then said he would first get Daisy settled. But right then, Jeff also came over. Turns out the so-called officer was Jeff's brother, and Daisy was taken back home again. Unlike Jeff, the older brother was more cunning. He came to Daisy and gently persuaded her, saying her husband had indeed run off with the stolen money. Otherwise, they would not have gone to such trouble. He even respectfully covered her husband's body with a blue cloth. But even after all his kind words, Daisy truly did not know anything about the stolen money. She didn't even know her husband was a thief. With no choice, the older brother decided to get tough and let Jeff interrogate Daisy instead. Just as Jeff was threatening her with a knife, the older brother seemed to notice something. He sensed the whole house was filled with death, but only the painting on the wall carried hope. It was Daisy's photo enlarged by her husband and hung on the wall. The older brother was certain there must be something inside. He told Jeff to take the painting down, and sure enough, he was right. After cutting it open with a knife, it was stuffed with cash. That huge sum was the stolen money they were looking for. The two were overjoyed. Now that they had achieved their goal, they did not want more trouble, so they warned Daisy not to call the police for an hour, or they would come back to deal with her. For now Daisy was out of danger, and she could only follow their warning and hide at home without contacting police. After so much turmoil, Daisy gradually fell asleep. When she woke up she realized she had to go find the police, but just as she was about to leave, Jeff and the older brother were still hiding inside the house. Turns out they had never left, and their purpose was more than just money. Daisy quickly broke free and ran. In panic she rushed to the balcony and found a stick to defend herself, but the two showed no fear, and from their conversation she learned her husband had not only taken the stolen money, but also diamonds hanging from Daisy's neck, and there was more than one. The two had planned to pretend to leave with the money, so Daisy would find the diamonds herself, but instead Daisy fell asleep. Learning the truth, Daisy was shocked when the older brother pressed her about the diamonds. She had no idea what her husband had done. Since Daisy refused to reveal anything, the older brother threw her pet cat down below. Both Jeff and Daisy were stunned. Daisy rushed to confront the older brother. Even Jeff could not stand it anymore. Although he was not a good man, he still felt pity for the animal. The two then argued. Daisy seized the chance and quickly climbed up to the rooftop. Just then a helicopter flew overhead. Daisy desperately called out for help. Even though visibility at night was poor, the helicopter spotted Daisy just when she thought she was saved. The older brother appeared behind her with a weapon. Just when she thought she was saved, the older brother appeared behind her with a weapon.
Give me one last chance.
Facing the weapon behind her, Daisy could only wave at the helicopter. The pilot thought they were greeting, so he flew away. Daisy fell into complete despair. The older brother dragged her to the edge of the roof and asked where the diamonds were. With no choice, Daisy said in the safe at home. The two immediately began cutting it open, but Daisy herself had no idea if there was anything inside. They worked at it for hours, but when they finally opened it, there was only a card inside. Realizing they had been tricked, the older brother grew angry. He immediately tied Daisy to the table, covered her mouth with a towel, and poured cold water on her. A feeling of suffocation rushed in, no matter how they pressed her. Daisy had no idea where the diamonds were. Just as she was about to suffocate, a knock suddenly came at the door. The two were stunned. From Daisy they learned it was her pregnant sister coming to visit. They dragged Daisy up, warning her to cooperate, or her sister's life would be at risk. Both of them hid behind the walls. When the door opened, they saw the sister and her husband. Daisy quickly lied that she had fought with her husband and told them to leave, but her sister insisted on coming in. The older brother was ready. As soon as they stepped inside, he would shoot. Daisy's heart raced. Luckily her sister suddenly felt pain. Her water had broken, so they had to abandon entering Daisy's house and rushed to the hospital instead. Daisy finally breathed a sigh of relief, but her hostage situation had not changed. The older brother told Jeff to make him iced coffee, while he interrogated Daisy himself. Jeff had no choice but to obey. Facing endless questions, Daisy tried to recall her husband's strange behavior. She said he once buried something by the flower pot. Maybe the diamonds were hidden there. Hearing this, the older brother rushed to check the pot. Meanwhile, Jeff was making coffee, but unexpectedly, he found the diamonds inside the ice cubes. While the older brother smashed the flower pot on the balcony, Jeff melted the ice with water and hid all the diamonds in his pocket. But he did not realize the older brother had already seen him when Jeff brought the coffee with a knife hidden behind his back, planning to take the diamonds for himself. The older brother already knew his intentions. Clearly Jeff wanted to keep the diamonds. As Jeff handed over the coffee, the older brother was ready. Jeff had no idea.
Here, Tiffany.
Jeff fell to the ground. The older brother slowly approached with his weapon and found the diamonds Jeff had hidden. After checking them many times, they were indeed the ones Daisy's husband had stolen. While he admired their shine, behind him, the older brother screamed and dropped both weapon and diamonds, but Daisy was still no match for him. Luckily, during the fight the power was accidentally cut, which gave Daisy the advantage. She rushed to her husband's body and found the knife Jeff had dropped, but just as she tried to open the door and escape, the older brother dragged her back inside. In the struggle, Daisy quickly lost the knife, but as the older brother strangled her, Jeff returned despite his wounds. While the two fought each other, Daisy quickly moved aside as she tried to hide on the balcony. She stepped on the weapon and the diamonds. By then the older brother had already killed Jeff and came looking for Daisy, but Daisy had already picked up the weapon. Even though she could not see like others, her sharp hearing guided her. When the older brother stayed silent in hiding, Daisy held up the diamonds, threatening to throw them off the building if he did not come out. The older brother rushed forward. He strangled Daisy again, but she still had the weapon in her hand.
I won't.
With a swing she pushed him off the building. At last Daisy was rescued, but the movie left two symbolic shots. Daisy did not report the case. Instead she skillfully froze the diamonds, and even knew how to cover them under a layer.